This is Alan, and Alan's one half of Meadvale Builders. The other half is Ian, and Ian's in the van eating his Weetabix. Now Alan's working on Saturday because he's so busy. He's putting the insulation in on a small kitchen refurb that they did, ready for the plasterers to come in on Monday. So they're under pressure as usual.
It's the easy bits, it's all the fiddly bits after this, isn't it?
Yeah,
cutting it round everything.
I'll get Ian to do those.
He's got his Weetabix in the van, I think.
Saturday morning, guys. What are you doing working Saturday morning?
That is a good question.
So busy.
I know. Too much on at the moment. Very good. A little slot, and then we've got another one to make.
Nice, that's why you're a carpenter, mate.
Carpet fitters.
What would you say?
Carpet fitter.
Nothing wrong with carpet fitters, we're going to get complaints from carpet fitters. Why are you demeaning my trade?
Are you all done at your daughter's now then, Roger? No. No?
She's having another baby. It's a lockdown baby, mate.
Right. I'm not quite sure about that one.
I'm double glazing, so fit these new windows, man, and me won't need to. So what is this, 90mm, 100mm?
This is 100mm, because weirdly, the 100mm cheaper than the 90.
That's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
They specify it. I look at the drawing and they specified 90mm.
90mm.
Nobody's got 90mm.
No,
Go,
no, that's
why
right.
would you, Yeah. Like you say, if you can get it, it's more expensive.
It is more expensive.
So when you're into motorbikes, was that you?
Yeah.
Getting any chance to go out on your bike at all?
Absolutely none at the moment, plus the weather's about...
Oh, you're a fair
weather rider. Yeah, the track days and that sort of scenario we do, but you know, with the pandemic and everything else that's going on, it's been a bit trickier. But yeah, I'm in the middle of changing my bike at the moment, so
what are you going to have?
I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know just yet. No, I normally ride 1000cc, but I was going to go down to maybe a 750 or something. Go a bit lighter, something a bit more fun.
Just as fast, or faster?
But that, well, just as fast, but lighter. That's right. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's only for fun.
So you can sell the one you got or not?
Yeah. We're putting it back to its road configuration so that yeah, we can sell that one and move on.
So this is the Plasterers, the Osbornes, Reigate Plastering, and it's a father and son outfit. Lee and his dad, affectionately known as the Boxer. I wonder if you can see why.
Hold it tightly.
So they're bonding out. They've chopped off the corner of this building because they need to get a fridge door in. It's quite a tight space. They've got a big fridge and they need that fridge door to open back on itself. So they've kind of chamfered off the brickwork here, and now they're just going to make up that corner freehand and give it a bit of bonding round and coat it off. Nice little job, and they're cracking on.
There's a little bit on my hole if you need anything there.
A bit more, yeah.
Yeah.
Where have you guys been?
Pardon?
You guys been?
I'll get on there now. I'll do it.
Very much come up there, yeah.
I've done nothing, come up there, not do it.
Not a lot, yeah, I think.
Wrong first, I think. Towards the bed.
It's okay, don't worry at the top of that bed.
Yeah. I'll just stretch back on it. That's it. Push it back quick, the top. Alright. Not bad, mate, not bad. Push it, now push it in, don't take that off.
Nice shot. Yeah, look at that. Done that then, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's it, go across, that's it. That's gone a bit hollow now.
Yeah, if I can get that other side with
Alright?
that, right, yeah, cool. Can you take that one? Can you get that one?
Oh no.
Softly, softly, catchy monkey.
Lovely.
So I'm just square that now.
That's better, right?
Yeah, it's hollow in the middle from there.
That's right, we get in the setting. I'll rule the setting now, it's not a
Well,
problem.
I'll do it in there. Oh, really?
Not that that means anything, but you notice what. You cut the beads with a hacksaw or with the snips?
I do it all with the snips normally. I do the plastic ones with a hacksaw, but.
Yeah. So is this brother?
That's the younger brother, yeah, both my boys. They've got another one and all.
Have you?
Yeah.
What does he do?
He's a sprayer, paint sprayer.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, works for McLaren.
So he must be a good old sprayer then if he's working for McLaren.
Yeah, there's quite a few of them there. Right, that's it, done it.
Just move it to the bottom now. Just move it around.
And get that now, mate, get that in the setting with the longer straighters now. If it's staying soft, you just take it like that, tilt it down, push it up.
Brilliant.
One of them you sort of saw it with a feather edge,
Yeah, I know.
and the other one you rule it.
I know.
I was saying that the YouTube thing's doing quite well.
Yeah. It's funny, I just went into sell. The bloke stopped me. I had my mask on. He stopped me. He said, "You're on that YouTube channel."
Yeah.
How can you recognise me?
I think you did quite well because you got like,
the
obviously
mask.
your face.
Rest of the trouser in the van, ain't my trouser in it.
Yeah, I'll get all the trousers off, mate, in a minute. That's a bit thick there.
Bit thicker on the bead edge, ain't it?
I'll take that little, the beads first.
I just check that seal on that thing,
That
yeah?
one, the little one was done before anything else.
Yeah. Oh, it's alright, man. You're alright, stay there, mate, you're alright. Oh. That's all a bit softer, man. Top of that's going a little bit. Bottom's wringing wet, we'll leave it for a minute. Have plenty of time to get it laid down, will we? Yeah.
mixer.
Sometimes you get that too
You'd have
thick.
to get the mix very wrong if that happens.
Yeah, if it's too wet, then it would happen.
I do a little bit, but you can't get a thing on, can you?
No, I can't get sweep on it.
I think I will.
Do you want it now?
Yeah, now mate. I've been abroad for 10 years.
Yeah.
First I've been 10 years in Ireland.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Thicker there, ain't it?
That's what bad it was, isn't it?
Go on, I've got the video.
I'm going to press record now. Quite that stereo one.
Yeah.
So this is John, and John is from Surrey Kitchens Installation. He does a lot of work with Meadvale Builders. The Meadvale Builders tend to do the building work, get the room ready, and then John comes in and fits the kitchen. He's been fitting kitchens for well over 20 years, and that's basically what he does. He specialises in kitchens. Okay, John, so you've got a 2-minute tip for us.
Yeah, today's tip is putting hinges on the door so that they line up and you don't have to struggle to get them onto the hinge plates. So what I usually do is I get a straight edge and I put the hinges against the straight edge so that we know that they're at 90 degrees. And it's a little bit unusual because we use the bradawl to the forgotten tool to make a mark, and it's not necessarily where you would think that the mark should go. It's not in the middle, it's slightly further out towards the outside of the hinge. So I'll do one in the middle and you can see what will happen to it. So we're more or less in the middle and we put our screw in. Well, actually, that's not too bad. Yeah, that's not too bad. But where you really want to put it is slightly further towards the outside of the hinge. Here.
Is that because it's so close to that hole?
Well, what happens is that if you're slightly off this way, the hinge will tilt.
Oh, okay.
But if you're slightly off this way, it will just pull the hinge further up this way.
Gotcha. Okay, I understand.
So that's today's tip.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Let's get the other one in.
When I came down yesterday afternoon, you said to me, a bit of a problem here because the doors that you looked at, none of them have got holes.
None of them are drilled, and right. The company that we buy the doors off of, they sent them down overnight because they had made a mistake on the drillings by not drilling them. Yeah. So they sent them down overnight, and they're here already. All the worktops sealed around the outside, so any moisture ingress will just roll off. Yeah. And all this is all sealed.
You did that with silicone, did you?
That's still been done with silicone this morning, yeah.
Okay.
So the sink is a Frankie.
Is there a gasket on that? There's not.
There's no gasket on them, no. No, they fit directly onto the worktop. So you don't need a seal around them.
Definitely not?
Definitely not.
Okay, because I always put
you always put a little bead around it.
A bead of silicone around it.
But we're already waterproofed.
Yeah, it's fine.
So
fine.
It should be any ingress.
Okay.
So the tap's already on, the waste's already on, the overflow, and hopefully you don't want to get underneath there and do all that.
When we get to do the document.
Oh, that's a horrible job.
The idea is to make sure you've got before you go.
There we go, it's in.
Gotcha.
You can get them out, you have to put a little credit card behind the grippy bits. Every single one. So otherwise when you pull it out, you'll pull the worktop laminate off with it.
You need a lot of credit cards.
You need a lot of credit cards, yeah.
Yeah. Robin Clever.
Robin Clever, yeah. You can see how flush it is. Yeah. The cheaper sinks, you have to be a little bit careful about what you buy because these ones are stainless steel, and you can tell they're stainless steel because they're not magnetic.
Yeah.
A lot of stainless steel sinks, cheaper ones, are being sold as stainless steel, and they're magnetic, so they're not stainless steel.
You get different grades of stainless steel, and I've seen those with little rust pitting marks on them after like 5 years or so. And
especially if you're in a oak worktop, then you get a nice black line all the way around.
Yeah.
Where it reacts with the oak.
Oh, does it? Right.
go. Straight on. Just a little bit of adjustment on the height. So it just needs to come out a little bit. And
that's more.
The opposite way around to Blum, yeah. Yeah, so yeah, they're exactly the other way around. It's a little bit high, so we just got to drop them down, and we drop them down on these ones. Rather than changing the hinge, change the height of the cabinet. So what can happen is that if your wall is slightly twisted, what's that going to do? Yeah. It's going to raise this cabinet. It's going to raise this cabinet up, and this front will be low. Yeah. So sometimes what we end up doing is, rather than adjust the doors, because there's a limited adjustment on the doors, we will put a packer behind any cabinet that's sitting down to bring him back up, to align the top and the bottom. So it's a little bit jiggery pokery, and usually we can get around most of the stuff. I've done terrible walls. I mean, I've just some walls are miles out. They can be an inch out on a 900 cabinet.
Yeah, that's nuts, isn't it?
Yeah.
An inch is a lot.
An inch is a lot. Yeah. You just need to get them all lined up, and so you can push this bottom one out if it seems to be a bit low, and that will raise this bottom one up. And I prefer not to pack them off the wall at the top. I like to get a good firm fix onto the wall, and I like to lock them on there. And often when I've got a single unit on its own, I always put the screws in the bottom, because it's so easy just to lift them up and they fall off the...
Yeah, no, that's I find that. I usually screw them together, carcass to carcass.
Yeah,
so that,
but if you've got one unit on its own, say, and because the way they work, and they just clip over the brackets. So fixing to plasterboard walls and stud walls. So these are the little brackets that we usually hang up. They would just so that's a left-hand one, and the unit sits over the top. So if you've got a stud wall and you really need a good fixing, they do longer ones.
I never knew that.
You never knew that.
I've never seen those.
And you can just drill a hole. You can just drill a hole wherever you need to pick a stud up.
That is lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because at 400 centres, you're going to hit a stud somewhere with the.
They've got to be there, haven't they?
With the width.
They've got to be there somewhere.
Yeah.
If we really can't find a stud, so here's the plasterboard, and you just pull them in, and that's it. Job done.
That'll never be used again.
That'll never get used again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're good, these fixings, but they're only as good as a plasterboard, aren't they? So
yes, but it's the sheer weight, isn't it? The cabinet's trying to pull it down. It's not trying to pull it out. It's trying. The weight is sheer weight. It's dropping it down.
Yeah.
But what you really must avoid.
Tell me, but I can't still quite believe that. There must be some cantilever effect on it.
Avoid these.
Yeah, the pig stick.
Yeah, I mean they're okay for lightweight, but not cabinets.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they're
not as good.
No.
Okay.
No, they do more expensive versions of these, don't they? I think I can't remember what they're called, but they're quite pricey, aren't they?
Yeah.
But they are good. I think they're probably twice the rating of what these are, because they've got a great big flange on the back.
Yeah, but this is my favourite.
This is great.
Where did you buy that from?
I've got a huge stock, and I can't remember where they came from.
Oh, okay. So we'll have to go hunting for that.
Yeah, I mean Howden's or
they're great. They really are.
Yeah, they're great.
Lovely idea. No, I always chuck the other stuff away if they come, like IKEA or whatever, just chuck them in the bin.
IKEA wastes are problematic, and so are their sinks. Their sinks are cheap, but they come without a tap hole.
That's right. Yeah.
So you have to buy the little thing to cut the tap hole. So they're not that cheap, are they? Got the extractor up. They're always problematic.
How did you find that? Did you get that fish that little...
I managed to get that through. Yeah. It's quite wide, so I managed to cut some plasterboard and just shave for a bit off the timber there. Yeah. So that came through all right.
What was it, flexi ducting?
Flexi ducting, the builders put that in for me, and it goes straight up out to...
it's going through the roof.
It's going through the roof, yeah. Oh, but it goes straight up, so it shouldn't have too much drag on it. Mm. But they're always problematic. Extractors, they take an awful long time to fit. You've got electrical connection, you've got ducting to connect, and then on this one I had to cut the top section because it's lower than this, and we've got a reasonable height on it. So what is the normal height to put an extractor up at?
Just about where you're going to hit your forehead on.
That's about right. Yeah, we'd have to. Being the short one, I've got no problem.
Wherever it is.
But
yeah, no, it's different for gas, different for electric, isn't it?
Bit different for gas, different for electric. So I usually put them at 750, and then when Mr. Gasman comes in, he doesn't have a problem connecting up. In the instructions, though, it says that the minimum for electric is 550. Well, can you imagine where that's going to be? So 550 is there. Yeah. As a gas fitter, it says in the instructions 600. Well, how would you feel about that, Roger? Connecting that up at 600. Yeah.
Just the safety. That's all they're worried about, not the convenience, aren't they?
Well, also
just worried about it not catching fire, I guess.
Also, if you're fitting for electric, and then the customer says, "Oh, I really can't bear cooking with electric, so I've got to change over to gas," instead of doing a remodel. Yeah, it's already there, so it's just nice to have it as high as you can, really.
Very good point.
With dishwashers, you need to leave a little bit of space underneath them. Because you've got the flooring, and we're having thicker floor than this.
Oh, really?
So as the machine opens, there's every chance that it's going to hit the plinth. So just take a little bit out there, and that stops me from having to come back afterwards. That won't be on view after the floor's in. The customer's thinking about where he's going to put a bin. Now, he doesn't want to use a whole cupboard to put the bin. He's trying to find somewhere that will sell him a bin that will go into under the sink here. So I've just got him an extra shelf, so it gives him the option. He can take that shelf out and use that. And nothing's going to drop down the back of this now, and we've got nice access to the mains water there. I always like to see under the sink look pretty tidy. Well, we try and push the trappers back as far as we can. So there is a problem with doing it this way, and because the U-bend's right down here.
Well, I was going to say the only problem is that if I were coming to one block list, then I'd look at it and I think I'm not going to take that off. I'm going to blast that through. I'll get round it. But sometimes you take these traps apart at your peril, really.
Well, this is a good quality one, and I haven't had to use any mastic on any of the joints, and it all seems to be quite waterproof.
Oh yeah.
So the drawback with doing it this way is that the U-bend is so far away from the outlet, so you can get smells coming up. In here and going down to the U-bend. Boxing to do in this corner. I might leave it for the tiler, and then he can work out exactly what he wants.
To the tile, was it?
Yeah, to the tile. Yeah. I've got the. Yesterday I was waiting for the handles to turn up, so I had a little bit of an early day. They've turned up. Unfortunately, we've got monkey lips here. The screws are the wrong size, of course, but we've got loads. We've got packets of screws.
When you say the screws are the wrong size, they supply screws.
Yeah, they supply screws, but if you can't really cut these ones down. You can if you put a washer on them, but they're going in as far as you can get, and. We've still got slack on them. Yeah. We've still got slack on them.
So what are they? 4VAs or whatever?
I think these are fives, aren't they? But I carry hundreds literally hundreds of different screws, because that's always coming up. Some stuff that makes kitchen fitters' life easier. The phone, of course. We've got a handle jig, so I can just set my handles, and they'll just go onto the door, and that will give me my sensors. I can just drill straight through, and I can do all the handles in 10 minutes. It's not a problem. It's set for that one there, which I've just drilled out. So I'll do that one. I'll do that one, and then I'll change the height, which will give me these ones here, and then I've got knobs on all the rest of the doors. So it's only one. Yeah. Euro Limited. So it's made in America out of the same material that jet fighter cockpits are made of. Yeah. So indestructible. Well, we think. Indestructible. Well, I've had it a long time, as you can tell.
The difference between that jig and a jet fighter cockpit is there's no ejector
about 800 miles an hour.
Ejector seat as well.
Yeah, ejector seat. Yeah, no ejector seat. No ejector seats in helicopters. The other thing that really makes my life easy is this little jobby here. So, and I don't know who they're made by. I think they're made by Blum, but they're fantastic. So if I wanted to put a hinge on a hinge plate on a carcass, I can just take my centre line, and then I can move the jig over to the centre line, so I can see it through here, and that will give me my two holes.
Got it.
I can either drill them out or just screw the hinge plate on if I can find one. No, I've used them all, and that's a really handy. That is made by Blum, and that is a 655300. Amazing little piece of metal that saves me hours. Yeah. The other thing that saves me hours is my jig for drawer fronts. This is a jig that sets up for the receivers that go on the back of the drawers into the mechanical parts of the drawers, and I can set my depth. I think on Blum it's 32 mil from the centre to the outside of the, and then I can set the height, the sharpen point, and just put it on there, give it a knock, and that will give me my distances, and it'll even do the pan drawers. Yeah. So that saves me hours, absolutely hours, if the drawers aren't marked out. And the other thing that really saves me hours is this little machine. So this is what they call an eco drill. Yeah. And I can clamp that onto the side of the door. Yeah. And I can clamp him down. Yeah. And I can put my my drill bit on here, and I can drill out.
Got it. I know. James got one of those.
Yeah.
And he adapted it, put a dust extractor.
Yeah.
On the front of it.
Yeah, that's a very good idea.
Some people went, "Oh, you shouldn't do that. So you invalidate the warranty bit." Nice bit of kit.
Yeah. And not cheap. Not cheap.
No.
I think this is £300.
I was going to say 300. That was going to be my guess.
Yeah. So there are a few little pieces that make life a lot easier on site.
Good stuff. Well, you're racing along now, my friend. So the last day today, is it? Last
day today. Oh, I've got another one to have a look at this afternoon, and then I start on another one Monday.
And the tiling is being done by Stonefish. Again, they're all regulars. They all work together very often, so they know each other's ways.
So you've got your trim, instead of 45 in the edges, which can put a little sharp edge on the corner of the tiling. Cut a little notch out the back, 45, get a Stanley knife and just score along the bottom, and then when you fold it you've got a perfect finished corner for your tiling work.
And finally, we've got good wood floors. And good wood floors are based in Surrey, but it actually lives in Wales. So quite a long commute, really. It comes up overnight, stays a few days, lays a few floors, and then goes back down into Pembrokeshire. Nice life if you can get it.
Today I'm laying the underlay. It's going to be a floating floor, 15mm in oak. And to prepare the subfloor, we use 2 coats of a liquid damp-proof course, and then once we'd installed that, we've then installed a self-levelling compound over the liquid DPM to flatten off the floor surface as best as possible, because the base of the floor is always preparation. The flatter the floor, the better the finish.
Yeah, otherwise you get that little bit of bounce, movement.
You can get a bit of flex and bounce and everything else. If you want to have a look at this over here quickly. This is the floor we're going to be installing.
They're nice long planks, aren't they?
Now, yeah, these are one of one of the suppliers I use. It's a major South London supplier, and
who is it? What's their name?
The name of that company is Flooring Sales.
Oh yeah, okay.
In Epsom, and this is a product they have sole distributorship of the product. 2.4 metre lengths. 180 metres wide, very nice,
really nice,
very nice construction. If you look at the core construction is very nice, really straight, really nice edges, a good solid core.
It's interesting because the stuff I bought, rubbish,
well, no,
it's made up of loads and loads of bits and pieces underneath.
Yes, yeah, you can tell the quality of the floor by the backing, and if you look at the top layer as well, if you can see there, the wear layer, that's a decent size. A lot of floors in priced. If you want to look out for it, look for the top layer. That tells you on price and the backing construction. A lot of Chinese floors are 1860 long. That's how you know they're manufactured in China.
Oh right, 1860.
Okay. 1860, yeah.
Must be something significant to that measurement.
It's to do with the machining, the machines they've got, These come from Eastern Europe.
Okay.
Okay. So, and you get a much more planked appearance with a 2.4 metre long.
It looks
as you can see. Then the Walk-On, the Duralay, British underlay manufacturer, many years doing this particular product. Have a little step. Rock solid. Setting out today and working out, because we're going to actually go under the units where I just undo the legs and go underneath and then bring the legs back down. It saves cutting round, trying to do scribes. The units are based off patterns on the wall and screwed and fixed anyway. So to undo a leg very quickly, put it underneath. Once I'm going to come straight down out of that room to give that flow, and then just gently crimp them back down onto the wood. Ideal. Always try to do the installs with a bit of flexibility in them. If you needed to take it out, try and do it in certain ways that you can actually take them out. Because I have uplifted a couple of these floors, which I've laid myself. I'm using a D4 adhesive, particularly in the kitchen, because it's waterproof. But if you're careful and you know what you're doing, you can actually crack the floor up off the joint, wiggle it very gently, and I've stripped at least 3 of these floors out. I've cleaned off the tongues and the grooves and relaid them. I prefer a traditional tongue and groove system for that reason, because you've got more flexibility in the more different cuts. With a click system is basically end to end, and each board you have to kind of get on the edge, it becomes difficult. Tongue and groove with glue is traditional, but it's far more flexible.
Do you have to clamp it up?
We've got clamps on boards as well. It's all to do with the condition of your subfloor and setting out. If you're having to hit it or squeeze it or you know, kind of manipulate it too hard, that will tell you that perhaps either the subfloor can be uneven, the base, or maybe it's not quite manufactured nicely.
Good, just one more thing about damp, because damp is one of those issues that people, you know, they neglect to their cost sometimes. You know, they think, oh, it's okay, that floor, and then of course if you put timber down on it and it is damp, you've got trouble. So you use a 2-pack. Is that a
2-pack liquid damp-proof course. There are 2-packs and single packs. I've actually got on board, if you'd like to see, I also carry the hygrometer system by Protometer, and then we test. We have a square isolation box. You put that on the floor, you know it, 24 hours, with a brick in it. It's got a little chamber. Any residual moisture goes into the chamber. You put your Protometer probe into it, you attach your meter, you leave it for half an hour, and then you take the relative humidity reading, which is how much the actual slab is emitting the moisture coming out of it.
So what we're looking for, ideally, figures-wise?
Below, ideally, I would say below 75%.
All right. Oh, that high. That's that's not crazy.
Yeah, actually, in the Protometers, we can go through it tomorrow. I've got the machines on board. They actually do it even higher. I think it goes up to 80-something%. But we'll check that tomorrow. I can give you an exact reading on it. So, always check first. You know, as a procedure for what we're doing here, because we've sealed. It's an old property. There more than likely probably isn't a damp-proof course in that dining area there, or the existing front room. So by applying your own damp-proof course,
you're going to do it
according to the manufacturers. Then we're applying this. We're trying to cover this. Actually, this underlay system as well also has a damp-proof course system in it, which we're standing on that.
Very nice.
So you covered yourself twice.
Do you have to tape the joints on that?
These are taped, as you can see here, and that tapes up to seal the joint up.